Heidi, I just thought that was such an interesting conversation. Let's just wrap up with a couple of thoughts. One of the things that really stood out for me was Dan's partnership with Gallo, right? I just thought that was a great example of smarter collaboration, right? He took his real passion and expertise for winemaking and combined that with Gallo's great production and massive scale, right, to transform his business model, right? And so he's able to increase accessibility and reduce cost and create new products that he couldn't have done on his own, right? It shows that that kind of collaboration is not a soft skill, right? He's driving real business outcomes from that partnership.
Absolutely. But what you said could be really daunting, right? This massive scale. Gallo is a giant, and he comes along with Massican. He's a pretty small player relative. And he had to go in hoping for some degree of autonomy. He didn't just want to
Mm,
get swallowed up and made part of the machine. And what we heard is that he actually got even more autonomy than he expected.
Expected.
And it frees up his time. He's now throwing his energy and his attention into the stuff that he considers mundane and not his skill set. Some of the basic business stuff that needs to get done. And he now turns instead to doing the things that he's really passionate about. It was,
Yeah,
a prime example.
totally. And what we've seen over and over again, right, is it takes that kind of partnership takes a couple of things, right? It takes some real due diligence, right? You need to understand who that partner is. You need to do the analysis, have the honest conversations, right, about what that look like. But it also takes a really high degree of trust, right? Both parties are jumping in together to do something, which will inevitably have some bumps in the road, I'm sure. But you have to go in with that high degree of trust that you're both that your motivations are aligned and that you're going to come out with something great.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you just nailed it. It's his reverence in talking about Gallo and how, they're third generation winemakers in California. He clearly sees a lot that they're bringing to the party. And likewise, I think he's very confident what he's bringing them that they didn't have without him.
Yeah,
And, being able to be mindful of the benefits, the mutual benefit coming in, I think is absolutely essential. I mean, I made a little offhand joke in there about we'll check in with him in a year. Maybe we should do that and see, how has this played out? What's he learned? There are people in all kinds of industries these days who are thinking about partnering or selling to or some other way of collaborating. If they're a startup and, big players out there, I bet there's a lot that he will know a year from now that our listeners would really benefit from as well.
but yeah, I mean, he just launched that collaboration range, right? So I mean, clearly, it's a theme that's close to his heart. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. Well, we are so grateful to Dan for joining us today. That was Dan Petroski, wine extraordinaire, joining us to talk about Massican and his partnership with Gallo. And for all of you, remember, smarter collaboration. You can go fast on your own, but you can go further together.